Hi everyone, Leticia here with Made with Love by Glamall, where everything here is made with love because I love to crochet so much. I told you at one of my other videos that at the top of every video I was going to tell you what color nail polish I was wearing. Since I used to be a nail tech, nail polish interests me. So I'm still wearing the same color as the last time because I'm making this video the same week. So I'm using the brand Sinful Colors, and it's the Snow Me White 101. And I'm using the base coat called Rock Hard. Get it at Sally's. It's about $6 or $7. This nail polish, this base coat and top coat are really good, and it helps your polish stay on for about a week. So anyway, that's what I'm wearing. I just figured I would tell everyone the name of the nail polish that I'm wearing every time I make a video, since you'll be looking at my hands a lot, and maybe one day I'll be wearing an interesting, cool color that you want to know the name of, and I'll tell you at the top of the video. So anyway, what we're going to be making today is a yarn cozy. I haven't seen any of these on YouTube yet. I was looking for a tutorial on it and I couldn't find one. I've seen cup cozies like for coffee and stuff like that, but I haven't seen a yarn cozy. I know that they sell them at the store, and at the store they're like a nylon, kind of a nylon sock cozy, and it's open at the bottom. But I wanted mine closed just because I want the yarn all protected. Because I don't know if you're like me, I don't like my yarn on the floor, because when it rubs on the carpet it ends up getting little fuzzies on it, and it's not as nice and shimmery as when you start it off with, and it gets soiled. Or if you have a cat or dogs, you know, you could possibly get cat or dog hair on it. So I came up with this cozy. I'm sure there might be a better way to make it, but like I said, I don't have a pattern. I didn't see a tutorial on it. So I just kind of made up my own. So I'm going to show you how I did it. And I'm sure some of the crochet stitches that I'm going to be making aren't exactly correct, but it's how I did this anyway. Alright, so if you're interested in making one of these, stay tuned. Oh, I was going to show you this yarn cozy is for a center pull. If you're the type of person that likes to use the yarn pulled from the center, that's how I like it. And this cozy measures about, I think it was 9.5 or 10 inches, I'm not sure. I don't remember now, but it's really simple to make, and this cozy is for, it's going to hold the size of yarn. The brand Caron Simply Soft is what I have in here right now. So it's a kind of a smaller yarn that it holds, but if you have the bigger Red Heart or just the big old jumbo yarn, then you can make this part right here you can customize it to your size of yarn that you want. But it's really simple. I made it bigger at the top so that it would be easy to get the yarn in. You know, it comes in and out really easy, and then you just pull it at the top so that it's as protected as possible, and yet your yarn still comes out nice and easy. So you can put a ribbon like I did, or you can make yourself a drawstring. You can crochet a drawstring. So anyway, if you're interested in making this, I'm going to go ahead and be showing you how I did it. Alright, stay tuned. Okay, so let's get started on our yarn cozy, and I'm going to tell you what we're going to be needing so that you can go and get it all ready and set up here at your table or wherever you're going to be sitting and crocheting. You'll be needing a pair of scissors. Mine are pink because it's my favorite color. Well, I use a row counter. I don't know if you do, but it's a good idea to use a row counter so that you're not having to go back and count your rows over and over. To me, it's just kind of tedious. So I use a row counter. And I started off using a G hook for the bottom part because I wanted that bottom part to be nice, tight stitches. Find my thing. Yeah, I wanted that part down here to have a nice tight stitch to it. And then on this part I went with a bigger hook. I went with an I hook. I don't know if the camera's picking that up or not, but so I started off with a G hook and then switched over to an I hook, and I'll let you know when I make the switch in case you want to as well. And I also switched to the eye hook because this was going to be nice and tight on the bottom, but I wanted this to start getting a little bigger so that it would be easy to slip our yarn into. And then that way it would be bigger up here at the top. So you see, if I'd have kept using the G hook, it wouldn't have been this big and it would have been harder to get my yarn in. So I went with a bigger hook so that it would be wider at the top and I could slip my yarn in nice and easy. And then all you do is just put a drawstring on it or a ribbon, and it actually fits nice and snug. And I still have the paper in there if you can hear it. So it fits the yarn and it fits the paper that it comes with. So it's actually a nice fitting one. So okay, got those two hooks, and you'll also be needing a yarn needle or a tapestry needle. And I use a needle threader, yarn threader, because it's easier for me to get it, to get the yarn through there. So that's what we'll be needing. Go ahead and get your supplies ready and meet me back here. Silly me, I forgot to tell you, you'll also be needing the yarn of your choice. How silly, right? Okay, so I'm using a Red Heart Super Saver yarn today, and that's what I used for the red cozy that I just showed you as well. I know that it's not as soft of a yarn as like the Simply Soft or anything, but it's okay because it's just for a cozy, and I wanted it kind of a thicker yarn because I wanted it nice and sturdy, since it's going to be probably rolling around on the floor or sitting on the floor on the ground. So okay, I'm not going to start with a slip knot today. What I'm going to do is a magic ring, because to me it's easier to use a magic ring, because if you do just a slip knot and then do 8 chains and then connect the chain, it's hard to get the stitches in there that you need. So I just like using the magic ring, because then you can get your stitches in there a lot easier. So this is how you do a magic ring. Let me try that again so you can see. Just wrap the yarn around as if you were doing a slip knot. If you were doing a slip knot, you would pull that all the way up, but instead I'm going to put my yarn through there and then get the working yarn and wrap it around my hook and then pull it through. And now I'm going to chain 1, and now I'm going to make 8 single crochets into the ring, into the magic ring. So there's 1 and 2, and meet me back here when you have your 8 single crochets in the ring. Okay, so I have my 8 stitches in my magic ring. Here's the tail still of the magic ring right there. So now that you have your 8 stitches, see how much easier it was to put 8 stitches in there instead of putting it into a teeny tiny ring. Now you want to pull that tail and close off your ring, and then you want to do a slip stitch to join the two together. So go ahead and do that and meet me back here. So now that you've made your slip stitch and joined the 2 ends together, chain 1, and then you're going to single crochet into each of the single crochets that you made. Okay, so go ahead and do that till you get all the way around, and then do another slip stitch to join it, and then I'll meet you back here. Okay, so I went ahead and did my single crochets into each of the single crochets, and I went ahead and did my slip stitch. And after you do your slip stitch, chain 1, and now we're going to do 2 single crochets into each stitch. Okay, so we're going to start here. Make sure you're picking up both little sides of the V, not just the front or the back loop. Make sure you're getting both. At least that's how I did it. You can do it however you want. So there's 1 and 2, 1 and 2. So you'll end up with 16 stitches all the way by the time you get to the end. When you get to the end, go ahead and do a slip stitch and join it, and then I'll meet you back here. Okay, now that we did our 2 single crochets into each of the single crochets from the previous row, we should end up with 16 stitches, and then you did your slip stitch to close that, and now we're going to chain 3, 1, whoops, 2, whoops, I'm out of the camera, 3, and we're going to double crochet right into that same space, because we're making, this is another increase row, and now we're going to double crochet into that next stitch. We're going to do two double crochets into each stitch. Okay, so let's do another one in that one, and we're just going to continue this way. We're going to do 2 double crochets into each stitch. Okay, all right, meet me back here when you're at the end of this row. Okay, now that we've made 2 double crochets into each of the stitches, this is what it should be looking like. And now we can do our slip stitch to close it. 1, 2, 3 in the 3rd stitch. Oops. Yeah. Do your slip stitch. Make sure I don't get out of shot. Okay, and now we are going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm gonna stop for just a second. I'm gonna show you where we are on the cozy that I've already made. So I don't know if you can see, but we're on this. We're gonna be starting row 4. But so far we're up to here, row 3, and so that's the part we're doing. So now we're going to do row 4, and then when we start to do row 5, it's going to start curving in. So if you start to notice that it's not straight anymore and it's going to start curving in, that's okay, because we need to get it nice and tall so that we can get our yarn in there. So that's where we are. And according to my notes, we chain 4 now. These are my notes on my iPad that I kind of made for myself as I was making them up. You don't know how many times I had to delete and redo because, like I said, I'm not really using a pattern. This is kind of my own way of figuring it out. So now we chained 4, and according to my notes, we're going to double crochet into the next stitch. So that's the chain we just slip stitched into. We're going to double crochet into that next stitch. And we're going to chain 1, and then we're going to, I'm sorry, I paused because I was reading my notes, and then we're going to double crochet right into that next stitch, and then chain 1. So you see we're leaving little spaces there, and then we're going to double crochet into the next stitch and chain 1, and we're going to do that all the way till we get to the other end. Okay, and meet me back here. Okay, now that we've done our double crochets and chain 1 in each of the stitches, we're left with something that looks like this, and it's got little spaces there. And the reason why we did the chain 1 and wanted those spaces is because now we're gonna double crochet into each of those spaces right there. So I'm at my last stitch. I double crocheted, and now I'm going to do the chain, the chain 1, and now I'm going to count up 3 chains and slip stitch into that. Okay, now we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to double crochet right into that same space. Let me check my notes and see if that's what I did. Hold on. Or if I skipped that same stitch and went to the next one. Let me see. My notes say double crochet into same stitch, double crochet into each space till the end of the row. Okay, and that's pretty much going to be the rest of the cozy, is this last stitch here. Okay. So now we're, like I said, that's what we're going to do. So these were our increase rows. That's why we were putting 2 single crochets into that, and then we were putting 2 double crochets into each of those stitches. So those were our increase rows, and so is this. Having the chain 1 in there is also considered an increase row. It's making it big. So at this point, here's the cozy I've already made. We are right here. So if you notice, this next row that whoops, let me turn it this way so you can see. This next row that we're going to do is going to be what's going to start turning it to start going up. Okay, so let's do that. Oh, you know what? We'll take out those last few. Go back to where you slip stitched and okay. And this, I should have told you, I forgot, is where I switched over to my eye hook. Whoops, there's the camera. I switched over to my eye hook. Let me make sure. Let me look at my notes and make sure though. Yes, row 5, switch to eye hook. Okay, so we just did our slip stitch if you took that out like I did. And we're gonna chain 3, 2, 3. And then we're gonna double crochet into that right there, that space right there. So you chain 3. I'm gonna double crochet right into that. This might not be what other crocheters would do, but this is what I did in order to make this cozy. And so now we're just going to continue that way. We're going to double crochet into each of these spaces till we get to the amount of rows that you're satisfied with. According to my notes, I did this till I got to my 23rd row. So depending on what size skein of yarn you're doing this for, you can, what I did, I'm sorry, I stopped saying what I was saying. What I did is once I had it at a certain length, I actually slipped, I think it was like row 18 or 19. I couldn't tell how long to make it, so I went ahead and put the yarn skein inside, and I just finished it off with the yarn in there, with the skein of yarn in there, so that I would know how much longer to make it. And so according to my notes, mine for the Simply Soft Karen brand, I crocheted for 23 rows. So this is row 5, and we're gonna just keep doing that till you get to the length of yarn that you're using. But for me, I'm gonna keep doing this until I get to row 23. I think I over-explained that, but oh well. So basically, in case I over-explained it and started babbling, we're just going to keep doing this in each space. And then we're going to get to the end of the, whoops, we're going to get to the end of the row. Over here, we're going to count up the 3 stitches, and we're going to slip stitch into that. We're going to slip stitch into that, and then we're going to chain 3. And we're going to do double crochets into each of the spaces until we get to 23 rows. Okay guys, I hope I made that clear. I might come back and I might come back before my 23rd row just to show you how it's starting to curl up, and that way you'll know that you're doing it right. If it looks like mine, then you'll know you're doing it right. Okay, I'll meet you back here in a little bit. Okay guys, I came back a little bit sooner than I said I would, but this is my 8th row right here. This is my 8th row, and you can see how it is, you know, starting to become a cylinder. And right here at the 5th row is where it started to curl up. So that's what we want it to be looking like. So if yours looks like that, you're doing an awesome job. Okay, well I really probably don't need to come back again, because you just keep doing that same stitch over and over and over till you get to the length of the skein of yarn that you're making yours for. Like I showed you earlier, I made mine for the Simply Soft, the Karen Simply Soft brand. So this is the skein of yarn that I had in here earlier. I'll put that in there for you in a minute, but I wanted to show you that this is at your 8th row, And when you get up to however height you want, mine's 23 rows, this is what it'll look like. That's what it's on the bottom, and that's what it'll look like. This is what it looks like on the inside. So it's just one big old tube basically. So that's what it'll look like. And then at the end, when you get to the amount of rows that you want, for me it's 23, you're going to either weave in a piece of ribbon like I did, or you can crochet yourself a drawstring. But you're just going to, I started right here, the seam from where we've been doing our slip stitches is back here, so I made that the back so it doesn't show, and I came straight across this way and started weaving in my ribbon all the way around till I came back to that same space where this came from, and that way you can just tie it and make a pretty bow. But yeah, this is what it should be looking like. And the tail that you end up with here in the inside, just go ahead and weave that in with your tapestry needle. See, if you were to turn it inside out, if you wanted some cool ridges, you could turn it inside out and just poke this tail down through the inside and weave it in there. But I kind of like it without the bumps, so I'm going to keep it the right way. But either way, it looks kind of cool. So anyway, this is what it ends up looking like. So I think I can probably end the tutorial here. And as long as you know that yours ends up looking like this, you did it right. And I'm going to show you how easy it is to slip your yarn into. And I can even slip it in with the little wrapper that it came in. So see how quickly and easy that was? And then you just pull the drawstring, and your yarn is protected. You do a little bow, and there you go. You're all set, ready to go. You can take this anywhere, and your yarn is protected. It won't get dirty. And this, if this gets a little soiled, then you can just throw this in the washing machine on a gentle cycle, and maybe just kind of set it on top of your dryer so that when you're drying other stuff, the heat from that will kind of dry this. If you put this in the dryer, it might shrink, so that's why I'm saying just kind of put it on top of your dryer as you're drying other loads of laundry. And there you go. You can just reuse it, make any color you want. If you're making yours for a larger skein of yarn, then just keep doing row, let me see, you would do another row of row 4, I believe, to make it bigger, and then you would start your 5th row that starts bringing it long, lengthwise. Okay, so this is it. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. If you did, please give the video a thumbs up, and please subscribe to my video or to my channel, because if you do, that'll give you an alert as to when I make a new video. And I have a lot of ideas brewing around in my mind, so you don't want to miss any. So go ahead and subscribe to my channel, and I want to thank you for visiting Made with Love by Glama, where everything here is made with love. All right, bye.